Another beautiful Sunday night with positive vibes, maybe. PVM the Talk Show. I'm your host, Dante Dash Smith, about to be joined shortly by the fam, the crew, as we unpack tonight's topic, which is dating and relationships, reality versus the image we uphold in our minds of how the relationship should unfold. So, guys, I hope you guys brought your gems to share, to unpack with us. Tonight's going to be a beautiful conversation. Like I said, I got the whole family in the building with me. I got Jetty, I got Alicia, I got Namadi, and I got Jared. The whole gang from last week. We got to unpack a good one tonight. Ooh, how y'all feeling? So, before we get into tonight's episode and before everyone tags in, let me just pay the bills, shout out a few things that's going on with the team, So first and foremost, next Saturday, March 18th, Positive Vibes Maybe, PVM Talk Show will be on site at the Imperfect Art Gallery for their Ramba Festival and art showcase. They're going to be showcasing different artists, the new art exhibits. It's going to be food. It's going to be liquor. It's going to be smoke friendly. It's going to be a good vibe. So if you're in the Philadelphia area, specifically Germantown Avenue, 5539 Germantown Avenue, that is, stop by. It's going to be real good. It's going to be a good vibe. It's going to be something to be worth enjoying. So tap into that. Also on March 19th, out in New Jersey, PVM, we're going to be at a showcase. I'm going to post the event flyer up in the PVM stories this evening, where we're going to be helping host open mic. So tap in for that as well. We're going to be interviewing the guests there as well as the hosts. It's going to be a lot of different artists, poets, rappers, singers. So stay tuned for that. Look out for that flyer that's going to be up in the PVM stories tonight. That's right, tonight it's going to be up in the PVM stories. That way you guys can purchase your tickets. The ticket link is at Eventbrite, and the link will be in our stories as well. So you'll be able to purchase your tickets. It's only $10. Come out, support, have a good time, have a good vibe. You know how we do. You know how we turn up. So also, guys, I got smoothies on sale for $5. Tap in with Flyer Mile Catering. Delivery is an option as well. I got fruit smoothies that's good for your weight loss. That's good for your weight gain. I got smoothies with dragon fruit, mango, pineapple, watermelon. So tap in. They're nutritious, they're delicious. Definitely gonna enjoy them. So, now that we got that out the way, let me just send the invitations out to the fam, get them all up in here, everybody. Well, it's really, it's that Sunday flow. We all was dragging a little bit, but we all energized for this episode. I'll tell you that though. Now, hold on. There we go. Now I got those invitations sent out. There we go. Also, okay, there go Alicia. Guys, whenever y'all ready, send y'all invites, and then I'll bring y'all in. I'm just warming up the audience until then, so take y'all time. Whenever y'all ready, I'm ready. Ooh, the gang is all falling in, so it might not be too long after. I'm all tongue tied. But like I was saying, guys, purchase y'all smoothies. Definitely tap into Fly them out. Place them orders in today, and tap in with Jetty, because he is selling artwork. Get your paintings, get your pictures, talk to the artist, create something exciting and decorative for your household. Tap in with my brother. He a wizard with the pen. So definitely tap in and support him as well. Also, his lady does phenomenal tea. So guys, if you're a tea connoisseur, or you're just looking for something warm and delicious at the end of a long, hard working day, tap in with her for a delicious cup of tea. With a special treat too. Some of them are definitely blended with the CBD to get you just perfectly relaxed. So definitely tap in. We got a lot of things here over at PB. The Twitter and the Instagram, like you don't want to miss things that's coming on. I'm keeping everything up abreast as far as new updates, new videos, new posts. So definitely tap in, be subscribed to the YouTube channel for all things new with PVM. Amari, how you feeling, love?
Hey, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Am I coming in clear?
Yeah, it's weird because you were on my Bluetooth, but then when my phone connected, it took it off of Bluetooth, which was annoying.
It's the, it's just the side effects of technology. They gotta give you like the slightest bit of the hassle to let you know.
Of course, of course.
How's your Sunday coming along? Besides, the trouble that you experienced earlier.
Hold on just a second. Okay. What did you say?
I said, how's your Sunday coming along for you? Outside
It's
of the
been rough.
inconvenience.
You know, I was supposed to be
Yeah.
driving up to New York, which I am, but I left the house at like 11. My tire blew out when like I was half an hour away from where I was supposed to be. So then I was stuck in the middle of Pennsylvania somewhere trying to get a new tire. Finally left at like 4. So
Now, that you have the tire trouble, you know. But I mean, luckily you're okay though. You're on the road now.
Dash,
So
this may not work because you're not coming in because of the reception. Because I'm in the mountains right now, so the
yeah,
reception's really bad.
yeah. This might
I'm
be a
sorry,
couple.
but I hope you guys have a great show.
Oh, thank you, Namari. And you get home safely. I'll tap in with you a little later.
Thank you. I'll connect and we'll have another discussion about this sometime.
That's a bet.
All right.
All right. You be safe though.
You too. Thanks.
So we're gonna say bye to Namari for now, guys. But as we speak, I'm trying to bring in Jetty and Alicia. So
Hey,
just be patient with me, guys. Hey, Alicia. Hey, Jetty. How y'all
hola.
feeling?
What's going on? What's going on? AP. Dash, how y'all
What's going
living?
on, breather?
How you feeling? How you feeling?
We good. We
Oh,
good.
I'm feeling good. It's been a pretty relaxed day. I'm trying to prepare myself for the work week tomorrow. You know how that goes.
Oh, I
Um,
understand all too well.
the grind be real. I can't wait till I can get a full-time remote position. Until then, we're gonna work with what we got. And I'm a little excited because Friday is my youngest son's first dance. So,
Okay.
it's
All
round
right.
two. We excited. It's a real dance. He's even got a little date, so I can't wait. It's gonna be fun.
Okay. So is he wearing like a little suit or a tux too?
Yeah, he got a little suit. We made sure to
Oh,
get her a little corsage to match her dress. And this is his plate. This is his plate. My girlfriend's granddaughter, so they know each other. We got
okay.
family tickets, and my oldest son didn't want to go, so we were like, he needs somebody that he can, party with and have fun with. So that worked out. Me and Dad are just going chaperone.
That's what's
Yeah,
up.
yeah, that could be a little bit embarrassing at times. Even the cool parents, the kids still be wanting that little separation. Be like, let me do my thing.
Yeah, we just didn't observe.
I got some more maturity to do. My kid can't
So, so,
tell me that. My baby can't tell me that. I'll be like, what thing you got to do? What thing you got to do? Uh-uh.
oh man. Well,
Jay,
Uncle
what's
Jetty, you
going
got
on with you?
What's good with y'all brothers, man? Just over
Shit.
how you
here
feeling this
chilling.
Sunday?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
I'm just trying to relax and enjoy the rest of this Sunday, man. Catch some good vibes on the Good Vibes Maybe podcast.
Hey.
Positive,
Yes.
positive vibes, maybe.
Positive vibes, maybe. Let me not mess up the branding.
Exactly.
We're not interfering with the
PVM.
branding.
They worked hard for this. We're not gonna do
Right
that.
on. Right on.
The vibes lead to the great vibes. You feeling that vibe when you have the conversation. Let me take these things off.
Yeah, don't mind me, guys. I'm just finishing up dinner, so
Hey,
I'm
look,
here.
as you
What?
finishing up dinner, bro, what led you to bringing up this topic in the first place?
This is actually a topic. Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, Daddy, because this was actually a conversation I was having with a couple of my coworkers. We was listening to the Breakfast Club, and who was a Young
Why would you do
Miami.
that?
Well, listen to the Breakfast Club. Oh, I need my daily dose of ratchetness in the morning.
Gotcha,
It just
gotcha.
don't feel. you know, I need a little something. I just can't be too positive all the time. I need a little negativity. A little toxicity. Just to keep
need
it all
need that
fresh in my
balance.
soul.
Need a little bit of toxicity. Got you.
Balance it out. That's what the yin yang for, the good and the bad. But But we was listening to Young Miami have a discussion on there, talk about singleness and how she can't really be in a full relationship or committed to anybody because everyone is, obsessed with infidelity at this point. And she was going on talking about how more people in relationships will experience infidelity than the single people, and that kind of led to a conversation with upstairs. Younger. Thank you. My nephew is about to give y'all a whole drum class.
Shout out to little homie, man.
That led to the conversation about relationships. As far as like why do single people lust for the relationships while most people in relationships are lusting to be single, and that kind of just started sparking more and more questions about like why I wanted to ask couples in relationships as opposed to people that were single, kind of figure out what's the divide between the ideal relationship versus reality, and see where do we, where do things wires cross, where this idea of how the relationship goes is differentiates from most cases how it actually is. So, do I see what you guys?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel so far removed from this stuff. Like I feel so far removed. I'm feeling like a observer
Yes.
when I see these podcasts. I'm like, I be watching and I be trying to understand. And I go back in my mind to the days of when I was single, and I be like, maybe it's because I'm, older. I'm almost 40, so my heydays is behind me, right? So maybe things were just, and not that the nonsense and the toxicity didn't exist, because it certainly did, but I don't know, like I wasn't lusting to be in a relationship when I was single, and as a married person, I'm not lusting to be single. I don't know, like, so it's weird for me. When I hear these conversations, I always respect everybody's perspective, but that's not my experience.
Yeah. I think we talked before about like enjoying, like there was aspects of singlehood that we enjoyed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but it's actually craving that. I think the people who are craving that are in bad relationships. I don't think people in healthy relationships had them desires.
Yeah.
Facts. Or if you are one person in a duo who is craving that means you got something unhealthy within you. Yep. And that's not necessarily that your relationship is bad. The problem might lie within that one singular person, which could then, of course, lead into a bad relationship where you got somebody who's not ready to meet their partner halfway and do the work.
Isn't it the same thing, though?
Not necessarily.
Because if you in a relationship and you feel like that, isn't it something
but
wrong
I don't
with the
think,
relationship?
No, I think it's if
and
your partner.
It
depends on if your partner is because if your partner is a good partner, right? And you can openly admit that, because I've heard this. I've heard these scenarios where people are like, it's not, he's good to me. He does A, B, and C. It's me. And I've heard that from both the male and female perspective. Yeah. It's me. So that means that's not a relationship problem. That's a you problem.
Yeah,
if you got something good and there's something within you, you can't put that on your partner.
Yeah, but if you're the negative side of things, then you're making the overall relationship
if you don't address it, yes, you will. It'll seep out like poison. Bad association spoils useful habits. We know that. It's like one bad apple will spoil the bunch. But if you recognize that within yourself and you're not willing to do the work, if you stay in that relationship, absolutely, you will make it worse. But if you can recognize it and address it, it doesn't have to go that way. But there has to be an acknowledgement of there's something within me. If it's not, especially if you can look at it and be like, this is not an issue with my partner, this is something that I'm craving, you got to figure out why.
But hold on, but can't somebody be good for you and you just not be ready to be good for them?
Absolutely. And if that's the case, don't let the relationship go bad. End it. Just say enough. No, you
adding caveats onto it. We just speaking about the state of it.
But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't mean the relationship is bad. It means that I've reached a point where I don't think I'm ready to be in this relationship. It doesn't mean it's a bad relationship. It means I got some things I got to work through, and I'd rather nip it in the bud before it gets to that point.
I'm not saying you're wrong about that, but I think
there are people I've seen do that. Unfortunately, it's not a maturity that happens often.
Right, I was about to say, Dad, did you ask, do people do that? The fact that you asked that means that there is a group of people, not excluding yourself, but to ask that, that is fucking crazy. You never experienced somebody.
How many times have you seen people stay in relationships for various reasons, right?
I see people
a lot. And that means married people, people dating. Prime example, you have people who stayed for the kids, right? We hear that all the time, whether it's marriage or whether it's baby mama, baby daddy situation. There are people who will stay out of, we've talked about this before, complacency, comfortability, for all sorts of reasons. Never a good enough reason. If your main reason isn't because I love you and I want to work on this relationship, because we got to understand relationships are work. If your main reason is not that I want to see this through because I love you that much and I see us having a future, if it's not either of those things, it's not going to be what you want it to be. But there are people who will stay. So how many people do we know that serially cheat in relationships? It happens.
That's what I know. That's what I know. That's why I'm kind of honestly scared to be in a relationship at this point, because I see so many relationships where instead of like walking away, people will just be like, you know what, I done invested so much time in this person, or I'm so comfortable around this person, I'd rather just cheat, get whatever I need from somebody else and still come home to this person, because at least I got this built-in comfortability.
Treat it like a placeholder until the better thing comes along. Jetty, yes?
Go ahead, Jenny.
I appreciate it. No, that's cool. That's why I just take it back. I let y'all cook. Look. Holla at me when you do, teacher. I'll be waiting. You know what I'm saying? We got to nip something in the bud. AP, you said something really key, and I've heard this so many times, and it's real. But I feel that because it's something that we use as a popular narrative that connects to an integral truth, it needs to be broken down and it needs to be dissected. This notion, which is true, don't get me wrong, but it needs to be broken down of a relationship needs work. So my issue with that statement as a standstill is how much work are we putting into the relationship? You know what I'm saying? Like I go to work for 9 hours, right? 8 hours and then an hour lunch break, but I'm 9 hours away from home. You know what I'm saying? I come home, my lady understands that I've been working hard labor for 9 hours, yet I'm still expected to be present here as her partner, as a father. So that's its own world over there. You know what I'm saying? But I've still invested 9 hours into that world. I cannot allow my investment of 9 hours to take away from my investment here that I only give an hour or two. And I'm just like, you know what? You got her for the rest of the night, or I need my alone space for 5 hours, or you know what I'm saying? Like, because technically that's still work. I still came home and I still worked. But what's the quality of the work that I'm putting in when I do come home after these duties and responsibilities have been met on the other side?
Do you think you never allowed those moments like that though? Like you said, you work, you come home, you got to invest the time and your energy in the home. Aren't there times where people in relationships should be allowed though, like almost it's work, right? So at jobs, you take a mental health day sometimes. Like, don't you need a mental health break sometimes, even in your relationship? Like, and it has nothing to do with your partner or how you feel about them, but it's just like, yo, maybe the day that I just had that did put me through a mill. Like, I'm so tight right now. I need to decompress. Like, I can't be who you need me to be until I take this time to clear my head, and then I can come back and I can give you what you deserve.
Yes, I agree. We do deserve it. It's either side of the fence.
Yeah.
The man, the woman, the mother, the father, the husband, the wife, whatever. Either side of the fence, we are allotted that. And I feel being in a relationship, one partner's responsibility is to make sure that they allow a facilitation of that for their partner in case that should be the case. You know, I feel that the nuance that is a real deadly line to tap dance on is how much of an advantage you take in terms of your partner's understanding and just how much you lean onto those mental health days. Quote,
Yeah.
and you know what I'm saying? Like,
But that
oh no,
you
go ahead, AP. Go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. I didn't want this comment to disappear. Princess, on this, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. You made a good point, Jetty, but most people don't do that and operate under that understanding. That is understandable, but these things need to be communicated without the other person internalizing. I think that is Chef's Kiss Perfect. That communication is key, right?
Yeah.
Communication and comprehension are key. You can't have one
Yeah, I was
without
about
the
to
other.
say
You can communicate to the
comprehension.
cows come home, but if they don't comprehend, it's going to be a whole different story. So yes, communicating to your partner effectively and letting them know what your needs are, and then having a partner who can comprehend that, and then y'all both, first of all, communicating with each
Understand
other about your needs, right? Because y'all both have needs, and hoping and praying that I love my partner enough to not try to take advantage in a way that so I can, take more time for myself. Because if I'm doing that,
Sure.
that's something. Hey, cousin, that's something that that speaks volumes to my selfishness, and that's something that would need to be addressed. Because we've talked about it before. There's no room for selfishness in any relationship, any healthy relationship, marriage, dating, or otherwise. If there's selfishness, you got a problem. You got a problem. Once you were deciding to put your life together with somebody else and unite in that way, it is no longer, you've become one.
Yep.
It is no longer, so that has to go out the window. There is individuality to a certain extent, but the bigger unit is y'all are a unit. The bigger picture is y'all are a unit. So there should always be that. And I shouldn't want to take away from you in a selfish manner. If I'm doing that, then something I need to be looking inward and saying, why do I feel like I don't want to give my partner their due?
And that's probably what's leading them people in relationships who aren't getting that to feel like they want to be single again.
Yes, Jetty.
Yo,
Go ahead, Johnny.
Yo, I love y'all so much. I got a burning question for all three of y'all, including everybody in the comment section right now. So, with that being said, something so key when you're in a relationship, let's say married, right? When you're married, two become one, right? You know what I mean? There's no space for selfishness in the marriage, right? So, would it be too far-fetched? Now, check me if I'm tripping, y'all. Everybody listening, including Dash, Jay, AP, check me if I'm tripping, or just lend y'all gems of wisdom to the matter so that we can get down to the binaries. But would it be too much or too far-fetched to assume that the boyfriend-girlfriend dynamic is destined to be toxic because there is no oneness? It's just two selfish people that just want to, you know what I'm saying, that just want to finagle.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that, because this comes with, I get that. I know what I'm about to say is about to sound real old school, but that's okay. I'll eat that. But this is about what your intent is with dating, right? There are people who are raised to date with intent. I certainly was. I was always raised to date with the intent of marriage. I was never raised to date just to be dating and having fun. That was not how I was raised. And when I tried it, because I did try it, because I'm a little hard-headed, I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't fulfilled. It was temporary. It was fleeting. So how you're dating matters. If you're dating with the intent of becoming one, then your mindset is already going to be geared towards that. I'm preparing for the future of us being a union. If you are not doing that, absolutely. If your thoughts are, this is just my boyfriend, this is just my girlfriend, we're together, but we're not together. If you still saying things like, I have mine, he has his, and we got separate bank accounts, and that, then no, you're not a unit yet. You're not a unit. You're not a partner. You're not a partnership in the way that you think you are. If you're not dating with that mindset of partnership, yes, it's just two selfish people spending time together, and not in a negative way. But if your intent is not to go there, y'all are just spending time. It doesn't mean that you're building something just because you're dating someone and they're your boyfriend or your girlfriend. What is your intent?
So even though we don't subscribe to this, what does that mean for the people who say, I want the commitment without the marriage title, paperwork, all of that? Like, because there's a lot of people out there that exist that do not believe in marriage. Like, they're anti-marriage. They feel like marriage changes things, which it definitely does, and it should. But for all those people that want to be in long-term committed relationships without the marriage, do we believe that they can ever be successful in that format? I think that's different than what
I think for me, I don't know, and I would never purport to know. I know based on my belief system that wouldn't work for me.
We just speaking in general.
Yeah, but I wouldn't know. I know people who have been in long-term relationships I follow people who have been in relationships 10, 15 years. They're not married. They're just committed to one another.
Yeah, like that. Like, you ever have an aunt and uncle who wasn't really like officially married or something like that, but they've been together for like 30 years?
Forever.
I think we all got one in the black community.
And everybody I think has somebody in their family who's done the long term. For me, and I think, again, this is really based upon your values and what you believe in are going to kind of dictate how you view relationships. She going in. Hold on. Princess said, relationships are not always 50-50, and that's okay, but your partner needs to not take advantage, whoever's providing the majority. Fact. Dating with a purpose is key, and that's the issue in the current society. People are dating for that temporary fix or occupying time. I tend to agree with that just based on these podcasts, right? We know that everybody got a podcast, and hearing these podcasts, these relationship podcasts, and the male versus female rhetoric and narrative. When I hear people, I hear a lot of what this other gender isn't doing for me. They're not. What do you bring to the table? Because I know what I bring to the table, and then I be waiting to hear what everybody brings to the table. But ain't nobody talk about what they bring to the table. They just talk about what they want brought to the table.
They telling you or
I am the table, and I'm just like, okay, but what's going on? I don't understand. I don't understand the table. But and I think Princess is absolutely right. It's occupying time, and I will say this: I was a selfish dater, if you want to call it that. I went on dates, I messed with guys. I did not, because you know what it is? When I start to care and I find myself starting to give of myself and it's not reciprocated, I really got to think about, am I mad because they're not reciprocating the energy I'm giving, or am I mad because we never agreed to that in the first place? Because we both just dating. There was no conversation about intent, what we doing, purpose, and even more so, I'm gonna say it because I was one of these people, and I see it a lot. Some of us get in relationships with people who tell you flat out who they are, and you just think, well, if I ride long enough, they're gonna change their mind, and they're gonna become the person I want them to be because I'm gonna love them so good. They're gonna be a different person. When a person shows you who they are after they've told you who they are, and you expect something different, well, a lot of us, male and female, we get in these relationships, like she said, occupying time because we desire this company of this person. And we think that if we stick around long enough, they're going to become who we want them to be, when in all reality, they may not ever become that because it's not what they wanted to be in the first place. But if we're not having those conversations and we're not being honest with ourselves and each other, you're going to just be occupying time with another person with no intent and purpose.
Yep, I blame Disney.
You blame Disney?
I blame Disney. Yo, think it's a game?
I want to hear this.
Disney plot. Every single Disney plot heralds a certain protagonist, right? And a love interest. and
Mm-hmm.
some type of obstacle that would in otherwise in a logical world prevent said love interest from getting with the protagonist. Like, let's say Little Mermaid. Let's just put Little Mermaid for example. You know what I mean? Little Mermaid is a story about a mermaid who had it made as the princess of a kingdom, sold her soul for some legs. Sold her soul for some, literally, signed a contract and everything with a demon underlord, got some legs, just so she could walk the earth with a man that she don't know nothing about. Saw one or two times, was like, oh my God. Yo, Disney, the plots Disney be is toxic.
Look
Sick,
at Sleeping
yo.
Beauty. Look at Beauty and the Beast.
It's
She
sick,
fell in love
yo.
with her prison guard. who she wasn't even attracted to.
Y'all going down the deeper,
Look,
darker
he's
rabbit
making a very
No, I
valid
think
point.
you are. I think,
He's making a
but
very valid
we
point.
could do have a whole hour just on how crazy those stories are. Not to mention the origins of
All
them,
those stories.
because Disney ain't do nothing but steal other people's ideas and run with them.
But I think I think what the
They
point
rooted in old
is
school toxicity.
how a lot of how media and entertainment affects our view, right?
Mm-hmm.
What we consume, what we eat, whether it is media, reading, videos, whatever, it plays an integral part in how we're going to view relationships, starting with the relationships we see in our own homes, right?
Yeah.
So if you grow up with two parents in the household, whether it's healthy or non-healthy, the effect is going to be there, right? Whether you have a single mom or a single dad raising some children, or you got aunties and uncles you're close with, the relationships around you that you see growing up are going to shape how you view relationships, whether you want it to or not. Everybody's impacted by what they've seen as a child. And somewhere in the back of your mind, subconsciously, you're already building this idea. Here's how real it is, right? Love my parents to death. However, they did not have a healthy relationship. And it was so much so that I was telling Jay the other day, I never saw marriage in my future. You know, most of the girls are planning their weddings and drawing their dresses and all that stuff. Do you know? So I didn't even want to have kids. I'm going to take it a step further. There was never any, wasn't even a thing. In my mind, because I was, watching TV, I thought my life was going to be Sex and the City. I thought I was going to be Al McBeal. I was going to be an attorney, living out there in my brownstone, living my best life, having drinks with my girlfriends. The idea of a man even being present wasn't even a thought. In fact, in my mind, the limits of boyfriends were relegated to high school and college. That is what my mind thought. It's like, oh, I'll date in high school. I have a boyfriend here and there. I'll go to college. I have a boyfriend here and there. There was never any, and the perfect man, and this is what my dress is going to look like, and I wasn't even thinking about marriage. Marriage was not for me. And as I got older, when I landed here, because God knows I landed here, it was not intentional. I'm not even going to hold you. I was taken aback by my own desire for marriage. I was taken aback for my own desire to have that nuclear family because I didn't want it based on what I had gone through growing up. My mind changed over time. There was evolution there. There was, as I got older, other influences, being able to see other relationships, and then just being in a relationship myself that wasn't necessarily healthy to begin with. But as we grew and we worked on ourselves as individuals and then worked as a partnership, it got healthy. But I didn't see marriage for myself, and I realized how much of that was affected by what I saw as a kid. I had no desire for it. It was so much not a desire that I wasn't that little girl who was like, on my wedding day, I'm going to... None of it. I didn't want it. Wasn't even a plan. So what we see, I think growing up, TV made it look good. I think somebody just did a post recently about A Different World. I don't know if y'all watched that growing up.
Yeah.
And how toxic Whitney and Kadeem Hardison really were. What was the character's name? Dwayne. How toxic they really was, but we was rooting for him, right? As an adult looking back, I'm like, no, Whitney, run. Go the other direction. Like, even the things we see in media, they make that struggle love look real good. They make it seem like that's the norm, and it's not. It's not.
But hold on. We go down this hole now, because Why was he so foul though? Like, because if I remember a different world, he was feeling her,
No, he
and she
wasn't.
had a yes, he was. He was feeling her, and she had a dude. When she got rid of her,
Well, let me help
he
you out
had
here
a
because I
job.
just rewatched the whole
He had a
series.
job.
I just rewatched the whole series. In the beginning, he did not like her. All they did was beef and go at it. He was physically
No, I'm
attracted
not
to her,
talking about like the first.
but no,
He
but I'm
wanted a
talking about that.
light-skinned, like-
But then he dated her, played her to the left, wasn't ready. He had nothing to offer, wanted her to give up to help him invest in his dreams, played her to the left some more. He didn't get himself together until she was with somebody who was prepared and ready for her. Then he had the nerve to show up at her wedding and interrupt it. Selfish, 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 and still had nothing to offer.
Yeah, but she broke up his relationship with the Asian girl.
Did she?
Oh.
You should go back and watch that show. But all I'm saying is that whole back and forth. He wanted something. And then he belittled her a lot throughout that relationship. Called her bougie, calling her all these sorts of things, and she was this, that, and the third. When she was who she was, either you gonna get on her level, why you gotta break her down to get her to where you want her to be.
Damn.
Well,
Yeah. Toxicity left and right.
If you're just stating a fact,
Uh-oh.
breaking it down if it's true,
Uh-oh.
like, or is that just a nod to like?
If she is bougie and that's her lifestyle, and that's why does she have to change that to be with you? Either you like her for who she is,
It sounded a
or you
lot
don't.
like the corny. It sounded a lot like the corny conversation now.
Yeah.
It sounded a lot
You
like
got
the
it.
corny conversation.
And I would say the same for her. She wanted him to be somebody he wasn't.
yeah.
Stop trying to be with people who aren't ready to be who you want them to be.
But hold on, that's a good point though.
And that's why I say shows like that, they made it look real good because in the end, the person ended up, but I don't want that. Like, I don't want that.
But isn't that kind of like the growth of relationships too, a little bit, like where you kind of meet and it's like this back and forth.
Compromise is one
and then
thing.
you learn to accept each other's differences.
That's only if you accept it, right?
Yeah, if you
accept it. Not, I'm going to continue to go and push for you to be who I want you to be. Like, I'm just going to keep slipping little suggestions to you.
Yeah.
Well, you could do this. You could do that.
But
you
in
could
the
do
end,
better here.
But I'm saying, like, in the end, they both wanted each other to be different, right? But at the end, they had to learn to accept each other's differences, and that's how they got together. Like,
Go rewatch that show. That's gonna be an assignment, and then we'll talk about it after because I rewatched it recently. You just go back and watch it. We'll talk
I watched
about
it my whole life. Like,
and that's been a while. Okay, I love you, but it's been a while. It's been a while, sir.
I watched it every
Listen, but looking at it through the lens as an adult who is now married and in a healthy relationship, go back and watch it now and see if your views.
Then we gonna be putting all this 2023 sensitivity on top of it too. Like,
go to your corner.
I'm so excited. Like everybody is so PC, and their feelings get hurt over everything.
It's not about that. It's not about that. Now you're gonna be up here on PVM trying to explain why we're getting divorced because you already you talking about.
No, I'm just. No. We talking about a lot of sensitive areas.
No. This ain't about PC. I'm just talking about general what the effect is of entertainment and media. Unfortunately, things get glorified that should not be glorified. And then people up here feeling like, I want that. No. And as an adult who has done the struggle part of love you to death, and has been in those toxic relationships, I don't want it. And if I could go back and change certain things, absolutely, I would go in with a different approach. Because, again, we're so affected by the things that we consume. Think about it. I ain't gonna hold you. Some of my favorite songs is toxic. If you listen to the lyrics, they the best ones. But you know, we don't even think about. We playing them on repeat. We singing them out loud. We at the top of your lungs. But what are you feeding on? They be the best Johns. Like, think about it. All the Mary J. Blige songs, and she was hitting the pipe or whatever she was hitting. She was in her feelings. She had struggle love, and we felt it and we related to it. All of the worst. Some of SZA's best songs is all about her being in toxic relationships. I love me a little bit of SZA, but let's be real here. When we're consuming those things, right, we start to kind of romanticize those ideas because then it makes us feel like it's okay. Like, yeah, so and so sung about it. Yeah. Like, it's normal. It's not.
Yeah,
we can't
do gotta be mature enough to see it as an entertainment it is and not internalize it. But it's you can say that with all the music, from the gangster rap to these toxic songs.
The West Brothers, these songs going back to our parents and what they listened to, even further than
I
that.
think they was even worse.
They was worse.
Back then. Like you hear how vicious some of them old dudes was, like how mean
Like
them
me and Mrs.
artists
Jones
was and
and you know, you calling up whoever Barbara on the phone because you in love with her husband. Like, do we hear the stuff that's been around for years?
Just
And
keep it on a down low.
I mean,
Don't nobody have to know.
so what are we being influenced by is my point. What is influencing our views on relationship? What is it? That's how we getting into these toxic situations. Who are we allowing? What's governing our thoughts? And a lot of people aren't ready for that part of the conversation because that means accountability.
Yeah. And you touched on the big thing when you say what's governing our thoughts, though, because, you know, a lot of people, when we talking about that, it's a lot of minds that's in the gutter, right? Like we need to kind of elevate a little bit, start looking at things differently, stop doing things the old way, like start approaching things in a more healthier sense, you know what I mean? Like
that come with a mind shift change, which is hard for most individuals because most people,
it is. It's
like, they've
incredibly
only
hard.
you got to break the stereotypes.
Yeah. And it's kind of hard to have an idea of what a positive, healthy relationship look like if you never actually experienced it or seen it firsthand. Like, you can hear people describe it all you want, but until you actually experience one,
So you
it's
see
a little
it.
weird.
You ever?
I
seen a post recently where somebody said, when you're in that getting to know you stage, ask the person you're dating what their childhood was like, what their relationships with their parents are like.
Hold on, let me take these notes. Go ahead.
Because it will tell you a lot about a person and their values, and let them talk. See, a lot of people are afraid of that getting to know you stage or getting too deep because they're afraid of running people off. But if somebody is run off by your honesty, they're not for you anyway. And if I got to conceal, hide, and pretend to be somebody else and not share my truth in the hopes of keeping you, that feels a little deceptive. And I don't want to do that. I'd rather you know up front, like, yeah, this was my experience. And here's how I feel about certain things. And this is what my relationship is like with my parents. Because that tells you a lot about a person and how they view relationships. It's the very relationships they have with their family, their siblings, their parents, and everything may not be good, but that's when you ask probing questions. All right, so why do you not talk to your mom, or why you don't bang with your pop? So, you know, whatever the case may be, or, you know, why do you admire your parents' relationship so much, or why do you not? Like, asking those questions should be to me part of a normal getting to know you, because now we're getting past that I'm just physically attracted to you stage. Now, and this is again when you're dating with intent. Now, if your intent is not to really, you just trying to have fun, those questions won't be asked. Then you kind of find yourself in what we like to, the world has coined situationships, because now you're kind of dating. I don't know, we doing this, and you know, and it's like, but now you, and here I'll take it a step further. Once you start, and I know a lot of people going to disagree, but I'll eat that. But once you start physically involving yourself with somebody, you taking on their energy, their demons, and whatever else they got going on inside of them. So please keep it in mind. Now you out here in entanglements in situationships with somebody and don't understand your own confusion, because you sleeping with somebody who got confusion within them, and now you're trying to make sense of something and you can't, because now your feelings are involved and the physical aspects are involved, and now, like, I want more but I can't have more. But y'all didn't have these conversations. Y'all didn't talk about it. Y'all leapt right into the fun part, and now you're trying to backtrack and clean it up, and that's a bigger mess. But again, you know, what do I know? I know that because the world will tell you, you know, just go with it, YOLO, you only live once, have fun. I'm like, I used to feel that way. But how many times do you have to get burnt spiritually, emotionally, or physically before you start realizing this is not a healthy way of approaching things if I really want to date with intent? Now, again, if that's not your intent, well, good luck, have fun with that. But if you have intent and having a real relationship, serious conversations need to be had at the very beginning, not when we're in the middle of this.
Controversy. Here we go. About to cook it. About to boil it. Another major reason, and in the same vein of the OGs who put a lot of toxic shit within their music and all that, you know what I'm saying? There's certain powers that be. that, you know what I'm saying, if you listen to for entertainment value, fine, you know what I'm saying? Shit. I get a little bit of straightening with a cold shower, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, what it is, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like there's a lot of folk out there who takes their relationship advice from a nigga who said, okay, so we out of here, tools to you bitches.
Wait, what?
Wait, say that again, because I ain't
I
hear
feel
that.
like a lot of people and their problems stem from taking relationship advice from a nigga who once rapped, okay, so we out of here. Toodles to you bitches.
Whose line was that?
Drake.
Yeah.
Drake with Nicki Minaj
Okay.
on
Yeah.
his first album.
Drake is the queen of toxicity. I meant no. He's the queen of
Yeah,
toxicity.
I was saying, don't do my guy like that. Don't do my guy
He's
like
No,
that.
he did
Drake.
it to himself.
Drake's
Nope, he
queen
did
of
it to himself.
toxicity, and I love me some Drake. I listen to Drake. I watch Degrassi, y'all. I'm I've been around, but Aubrey got some questionable things going on. But here's the thing. I'll take it a step further. And I don't say this and don't take this lightly, but I got a rule about who I take marital advice from. And this is not to knock single people. But I'm not taking marital advice from nobody who ain't been in their marriage for more than 10 years and who is not happy.
That's fair.
Now, I could take the unhappy married person's example and learn not what to do, but actual marital advice, I want some sage wisdom.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to those who are much older than me. I have been blessed to have friends who are in their 50s and 60s, been married for 50-something years and happily married, and listening to them be honest and talk openly. Last year, preparing for my anniversary, I was talking to a woman who's been married for 60-something years. And when she told me, and she in her 60s, right? So she's been married about, I think she said 50-some years. She's in her late 60s, and she told me, oh man, for our anniversary with my husband, we did A, B, and C. And she gave me some advice. I never thought a 67-year-old woman would tell me to go get dressed up in a costume for my husband, but she did. And she told me all of the things that they do to keep their relationship spicy, how they work through problems, so on and so forth. And I was so floored and shocked that she was that open with me and was that willing to be that honest. But I took that advice and internalized it because this is somebody I'm watching be successful in their marriage. Who you get your advice from matters. And for me, we're biblical people. We look to the Bible. We're going to look to the Bible for advice. So I prefer to get my advice from somebody who has those same alignments. I don't want my advice from somebody who maybe gets their advice from somebody else. I don't want that. I'm good. You have to get advice from what aligns with your spirit and what you believe in, because it may not work for you.
But like even common sense would tell you, right? Like, this is why people like Donald Trump and all these other billionaires can sell books and tell you how to start a successful company, regardless if they truly are that or not, right? But to some extent, you see them and you think it worked. They have a blueprint on how to be successful. So you're going to take advice from the dude that's a multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire. Why you wouldn't take advice from the guy who failed at his last 5 business opportunities, right? Like, you want to go with somebody who has a proven track record, who works,
Right.
and we should apply that to relationship advice, just like we would apply it
And
to
not
business.
song.
And
I love a good
especially-
quotable. I love a good quotable. I love a good caption. Okay, I love it. How you go and feed me, but you still beefing with me. One of my favorite lines from Jay. But I'm not. I am not taking advice from, here's even better. I don't care about famous people marriages. I ain't gonna hold you, because they living well above my pay grade. Okay, they got problems I'm never gonna be able to relate to because we're not even in the same tax bracket, and they be into stuff and entanglements and openness and stuff that I'm just not down for. Okay, I'm not doing it. So when people kind of fashion their relationships after famous people, I want that power couple. I don't look to that stuff and be like, oh, that's what I want. Like, none of that, because they in another stratosphere than me. We don't live in we're not even in the same universe. And just because they make a good song, don't mean that they're happy in their marriages, relationships. And you see it play out in the tabloids all the time. So again, where are you getting your advice from? Who is your role model? Those things matter. Is it healthy what you're consuming? The people you get advice from, are they knowledgeable? Do they have the same goals as you in terms? Do they view marriage the same way as you? Do they view relationships the same way as you? Because I'm not going to go to somebody who's in a polyamorous relationship and ask them for advice on my monogamous relationship. That don't fly over here for me.
That's
but
real.
they might be able to help somebody who's in a polyamorous relationship because
That's real.
that lifestyle aligns to them. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
you got to know where to look based upon what you're looking for. And you can't get that from everywhere and anybody.
That's real.
Alicia, let me ask you and Jared a question. How do you guys determine a happy relationship? Because it's easy for a couple to put on a mask of a happy relationship to the public. So how do you identify when a couple is truly happy, like through your married down?
I don't, because there's never no real way to know, and I don't like. I see what I see. Unless you tell me.
I got an answer for it though.
Oh well, for me, I don't know. Like unless
I don't. You don't know. Like, and I agree with that. But I think for me, the only true telltale sign is longevity, right? Unless you find out at the end of the day, like, I'm just trying to outlive you for the life insurance or something like that. Like longevity, and I'm telling you, like, it happened. Like, they made the War of the Roses was a real movie. I don't know if y'all ever seen that, but they was fighting over a crib. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's people who do that in real life. They outlast each other for the bread or something of material. But outside of that, time and longevity tells me, like, even if your relationship ain't perfect, y'all figured out a way to keep it going.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Right. You have a blueprint for what works for y'all.
How you interact with your mate, I think, is another telling sign. I look at, are you the type of person who goes out of your way to be away from your spouse all the time? Or do you like spending time with your spouse? And it's not that you and your spouse have to be up underneath each other all the time. Everybody's entitled to having their own lives and all that stuff. But I look at, if I got free time, right? And I see you got free time, and you forever trying to go out and brunch every weekend, or let's go hit the club, let's go do this, that, and the third every weekend. Like, when you going out with your husband? When you going out with your wife? Like, I'm going to start looking at stuff like that. If you constantly telling me we need to go out and go somewhere without our mates, I'm going to be looking at your little side eye. Like, why you was trying to spend so much time away from your mate? Like, those kinds of things are kind of telling sometimes. And again, not you got to be up underneath your spouse all the time, but I am a firm believer in your spouse should absolutely be your best friend. Yeah. And if they're not, that's another questionable thing. Not that I don't have somebody who was my best friend that I grew up with, but that relationship shifted and changed when Jared became my best friend. Because there's no way in the world you live with somebody for the rest of their life and they're not your best friend. Like, that's insane to me.
Right.
How they not? So if you say things like that ain't my best friend or something, like, I look at little stuff like that. But again, I don't know that there's any real way to know, unless you know a couple really well, just enough, or you guys have that kind of relationship where somebody tells you, like, yeah, I'm not happy in my relationship. Because anything can look like something, and it doesn't mean it's actually what it is.
And you know, the last thing I'll say about it is, like, growth is the real important part of it. Because think about it from, like, a vegetation standpoint, right? Like, when anything stops growing, it dies. So, like, your relationship has to continue to grow, has to continue to evolve. It has to get better. If it's not getting better, it could only be getting worse. If it's just getting worse, how long before you're going to want to be out? So, in order to maintain happiness is something, like Jetty said it at the beginning, is work. Like, your relationship is work. Maintaining happiness, maintaining love, maintaining romance. All of that stuff is constant work. Like, if you're not putting in that work, if you're not making sure it's going to be a success, that's when the cracks is going to start to show. That's when we're going to see the unhappiness. That's when you're going to wake up after 5, 10, 20, 25, 35 years and be like, yo, I want out of this joint. This don't work for me. No.
Yeah. You brought up at the beginning that podcast was about married people being more concerned about infidelity versus single people. I wanted to make a point that as a single person, you can't be worried about infidelity because you're single. So there's no infidelity there. Like, if you're worried about somebody being, are you in a relationship? Because if you're in a relationship, then you're no longer single. We can talk about that. However, so it's either you're in one or you're not, because if you're not, then it's not called infidelity. It's called y'all are sleeping around, because that's what single people do. Versus, married people are more concerned with infidelity, then yes, that makes more sense married people would be concerned about infidelity, because at that point, if you are stepping outside of your marriage, that is a concern. I cannot speak for everybody's marriage. I never would try to. The circle of friends that I keep, that is not a concern. You know what I mean? In the circle of friends that I keep. But that's not to say that I haven't experienced it or have seen it or talked about it or any of those things. What I will say, you asked me when we were prepping for this, what do you do to kind of keep infidelity out of the marriage? Like, what kind of work do you do to do that? And, you know, something that I was thinking about, I had gotten some advice a while back about when you go to work, keep a picture of your spouse at your desk, right? Or on your desktop or on your computer. And something that I've noticed is a lot of times you go into the workspace, you know, you strike up those friendships with your coworkers sometimes. Not me, I hate my coworkers. No, not real. Not real. I'm just kidding. I don't hate my coworkers, but it's not that type of vibe. We ain't close like that. It's not that type of party. But you can. You spend enough time with, because you're spending 8 hours out of your day, right, at your job. So it's now you're having to be mindful. Things that I've noticed are my relationships with men, even your, like Jetty's my brother, like Jetty's family, but like, does my husband know my male friends? Right? Does he know them? Are they cool? Do people know I'm married? My kids, my family, they plastered on my desk. They everywhere. You know, my ring is on my hand at all times. I'm careful, and I had to learn this lesson. There was always a lesson that I knew, but I'm careful about how much I share with someone of the opposite sex about my marriage. When I'm having problems, it's not another nigga's business to know me and my husband are having problems. You know what I mean? Like, things like that. Like, am I protecting my marriage with my behavior? Because here's the thing. There are people out here who will know you're married and they don't care. They're looking for that crack to kind of ease in. They're looking for that weak spot and weak moment, and they'll even egg you on, like, yeah, I'm so happy for you and your marriage, but they making little comments or jokes. If somebody's making little comments and stuff, are you prepared to nip that in the bud and cut people off when necessary? If your mate is feeling some type of way about somebody else's presence in your life, are you willing to nip it in the bud?
Right?
It's like, because who are you more concerned about at this point? Like, these are things that if you lack the maturity, you may not see the issue there. And a lot of people, I don't want to be with somebody who's possessive or all that. Nah, it's not about possession. It's really not about that. It's about, does my mate feel safe and secure? If they don't feel safe and secure in a relationship, I'm not doing my job. And that's it. And that means it's my job to make sure they feel safe and secure. Now, if I'm doing everything I can and my mate still don't feel secure, there's nothing I can do about that. But am I doing everything I can to make sure that my mate feels safe and secure? And the other way that you can protect your marriage from infidelity is, don't stop romancing your partner just because you're married. The sex should not stop. the flirting should not stop. The day should not stop. That energy you put into me when you was bagging me is the same energy I want. Now, granted, yes, we have kids, things, you know, people go to work and all that stuff, but throughout the day, you know, check in. It lights up my day when my husband texts me just to send me a cute little kissy face emoji. I won't even lie to y'all. Like, I will send him a spicy picture from the bathroom, just so you know, stuff like that matters. It matters. Like, I don't, throughout the day, we don't got to talk 24/7, but I want you to know you're on my mind. Women, for us, we want to be told we're beautiful, but I want him to know you look good to me today, or you smelled good to me, and I really enjoyed myself with you last night. Like, jog his memory through the day. Like, little things like that matter. The energy you put while you were dating, while you were trying to get somebody in your bed, should be the same energy you are giving them to keep them there. If you're not going to keep that energy, please know that you are creating space for somebody else to come in. And it may not even be intentional, but if you're not paying attention, I guarantee you somebody else is. And I guarantee you, and let me tell you, I guarantee you people do not care about your marriage. If you don't care about your marriage, other people definitely don't care about your marriage. And they don't care about disrupting you. And they will tell you all sorts of lines. And if you got a spouse who is unhappy, because maybe they're lacking in something, it's going to sound real good to them. It's going to sound real good when that person is giving them energy that they want from you. You
Mm-hmm.
got to keep that energy. You can't let that energy slide.
Fact.
I love
That's a
that.
super fact, yo.
I love that. That's actually a great way to kind of end the show.
Nah, for real. For real.
I honestly don't want to even differ off on that. So, that said, I guess I kind of want to end the show. Or what are your keys, or what do you feel like the keys are to maintain a healthy relationship and creating that honesty and keeping that honesty within your relationship?
What are the keys to a healthy relationship?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I, I think
beneficial to you.
I think what it is like really just finding different ways to support each other. You know what I mean? Finding ways that you can be that balance for that other person. Like where they're weak, how can you be strong? How can you help build them up where they feel weak? You know what I mean? Like things like that. I think that's what's important. Like I saw a girl earlier today, a woman, excuse me, earlier today. She said she went up to her boyfriend or husband or whatever and was like, "What can I do to make your day a little bit easier today? Is there anything I can do to make your day easier today?" I think stuff like that needs to be normalized. I think that's the key to a successful, healthy relationship is figuring out ways to be supportive. Like Jetty mentioned, I work 9 hours today, but when I come home, I know my lady who's been here with the baby needs my support now. I gotta figure out I gotta take some of the load off of her. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And him doing that is gonna promote her doing that for him, and then you get that ebb and flow of healthiness and success and that balance that relationships need.
Mm-hmm.
I think keys for me are, keeping God first in our relationship, and communication is definitely another one. Open communication. There has to be a sense of safety in order for you to communicate. Because if you don't feel safe communicating, you're going to withhold, right? And that's going to create problems down the line. So I feel like creating a safe space. The world is rough enough on my husband. The world is rough enough, and we got to step outside these doors. Home should be a sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm going to do is create a space of safety and sanctuary for him to always know that you're safe here with me. And so here's how it's going to work. And also just keeping in mind that it does require work. There's got to be selflessness. There's no room for selfishness. I will scream that at the top of my lungs for the rest of my life. It's no longer about me. And the thing that he said about giving, when he gives, it automatically compels me to give right back.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's become a reciprocity there. It's like he's giving, I'm giving. The more he gives to me, I'm like, well, Dad, like, what can I do for you? And it's just a natural cause and effect because I see you going hard for me. It made me want to go even harder for you. And the one thing I always say about him that I love the most is when I was going through the worst of my health conditions. And it was about a 5-6 year span. And I was at my lowest. He never once made me feel like I was a burden.
Mm-hmm.
That right there did something to me and did something for me to the point now that I'm back in a better space of health. I'm constantly like, how can I make, and he always tells me that's not something you have to make up for me or anything, but that fuels and motivates me all the time. I'm like, how can I give back? Because what he did for me was priceless. I watch a lot of people out here talk about how their mates have left them at their low or made them feel worse, and he did something the exact opposite. So that has only ignited and made that love for him burn even stronger, even harder. That makes me just want to go hard for him. So just keep giving to one another, and it'll be a nice little cycle of reciprocity. And I think that's really the biggest key in marriage.
Did that experience deepen y'all love to an extent that it probably wouldn't have been deep into had you not gone through it?
I think so. I mean, we've been together 18 years, so we've seen a lot in the last 18 years. But I think that when you say those vows through sickness and health, when you're young, no one ever considers sickness and health are going to occur while you're still young. You kind of think it's off in the future when I'm in my 50s, 60s, 70s. We didn't anticipate it was going to happen right after us having our last child. And I do think that was a huge test for us And I think how he showed up is why we passed that test. I don't know that it would have deepened the way it did had he not shown up in the way that he did, because he was able to step in and love me when I couldn't even love myself. And that was him being able to balance out something I wasn't able to do for myself. So I definitely think it played a major role in us deepening and strengthening that relationship, because where I've seen a lot of people in my situation feel very isolated and feel like they didn't have that support, I got to grow in a very weird space where most people would not. I got to actually grow in that space. So I definitely think it played a huge part in where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm. All right. Jetty, how about you?
I'm going to echo a sentiment that my lady usually parts with me whenever she drops me off to work, or just throughout the day, in reference to work. Protect your heart space. Protect your heart. Protect your heart space. Protect your heart. I feel that there is a more selfish narrative to consider, or that is considered when people hear that. But just to take it back earlier in the conversation when we talked about when you're in a real relationship, two become one. So if we're one and I'm protecting my heart space and I'm protecting my heart, I'm protecting you. Because you're a part of my heart. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, if there's situations like my lady and I, we talk all the time, whether it's, silly stuff, whether it's serious stuff, whatever the case may be, it's my job when my lady talks to me for me to hear her from a space of not only, trying to just respond or, just to placate her or just be here as a stand-in, if you will, but to understand where she's coming from so that she feels heard, wanted, seen, So it's not just two beings just occupying space with each other. No, it's okay. You're speaking to me. So in essence, it's like my conscience talking to me. You know what I mean? She's seeing things that I might not be able to see regarding myself because I'm too busy doing whatever I'm doing, whether it's at the job, whether it's here, painting, or whether it's even with our daughter when I might be too busy with certain aspects of life. My conscience is telling me, hey, pay attention to this. And what happens if you don't listen to your conscience? You know what I mean?
Typically wrong.
You fuck up. Typically, you fuck up if you don't listen to your conscience. You don't listen to your intuition, you fuck up. More times than not, you don't listen to your intuition, you fuck up. You know what I mean? So protect your heart space.
I like that. I'm a pretty much echo the sentiments that you three has said throughout tonight for my closing words. Being the single person up on here, like I'm in that space now, Jetty, where I'm learning to protect my heart and kind of just take my time to kind of see what is best for me. One of my biggest flaws personally has been the refusal to listen to my gut. So now I'm just kind of sitting in the space of just trusting my gut, trusting, what my soul is telling me, to be patient, take my time, really just kind of invest in learning people for who they are before I intend to invest more of my energy into them, like kind of see like, is it even worth the investment before I make the down payment on, hey, I want to take this time to get to know you. So, for me, like that journey is that journey, like it's got its ebbs and flows, it's got its highs and lows. And, when I talk to you guys, like hearing how y'all relationships are positive, it do give me hope that, maybe I could find a positive relationship myself, because for the most part, my relationships have been a bit toxic, due to myself and due to them, but it's been a nice blend of both, so like when I hear your stories, it gives me perspective of things I need to work on within myself, before I'm ready for a relationship. So thank you guys for tonight.
Absolutely.
All the advice.
And look, Dad, remember it is possible, but you got to hold space for that.
Mm-hmm.
So don't clutter it up with stuff right? Don't clutter it up with space fillers. Leave space for what's supposed to be yours.
I like
Yeah.
that. All right, all right. I got to figure out how to do that. You know, like definitely got to figure out how to do it. That's probably like my next biggest hurdle. You know, like
Let's talk about abstinence next time.
yeah. Because I don't want to give too much juice up on the camera. Like, so, we need to have a heart to heart. We need another heart to heart soon, dog. Real soon. Like I gotta get some shit off my chest. Before we get off out of here, I need you guys to let everybody know where they can find y'all. You know, if you got anything going on, you know, let people know what's happening.
Well, as you see, he left to go tend to the kids. You can catch us on A_J podcast. Y'all can catch you at APY blog on here, at apyoungblog.com. He sometimes even guest writes on my blog, so you guys can check out his writing there as well. But that's it. Nothing fantastical going on. We just out here living, raising kids. Y'all can check in about Jack's first little dance off. We'll update you. We'll see how that goes. Absolutely.
I know, right? Too there. First dance is always important. I remember my first dance. I got my first kiss there and everything. I was a man that night.
Well, I'm not prepared for that. They won't be any of that. They're 6 and 7. We're gonna let that rock. You know, we're not there yet. We're not doing that.
See? My first kiss was 10, but he not too far off though. Like, see?
He better be.
That's the shit I'm talking about. This is the shit I'm talking about right here. This shit I'm talking about right here. There's gonna be one grown man with a little 6, 7-year-old in my hand, full wedgie mode. Like, this ain't what you think, partner. And I'm gonna get into it.
This ain't what you want.
I'm gonna get into it with little homie pops and moms, and I'm gonna be like, listen, look, how you wanna do this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, kids still in hand, briefs. 6 inches above head. Like, how you want to do this? This ain't happening.
I try not to be that helicopter mom, but no, we're not there yet. Y'all gonna be kids. Go jump up and down off beat to the music, but that's about it.
Right. I like that. Yeah.
Daddy, you gonna shout everybody out?
You already know, first and foremost, APJ, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate you. We love you. We cherish you. And we just are so humbled every time you're able to grace us with your presence, with your candid candor. You know what I'm saying? And the wisdoms, the gems of wisdom, rather, that you drop or whatnot. We appreciate you. We love you. As far as I'm a simple guy. Follow me on PVM TalkShow first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Also, make sure that you follow me on Jetty A Track. You know what I mean? And last but definitely not least, raise it up to the Holy Grail at the very least. All for you. As my ladies page and myself, we're gonna have some more content put up on there. You know what I'm saying? So check in and see what we do in our day-to-day lives regarding us being parents and regarding us being partners.
I can take that.
Right. Absolutely.
You're missing one, Auntie Apothecary.
Oh yeah, Auntie's Apothecary. Listen, I'm not missing it, brother. I got some things in the tuck, baby. I got some smoke in the chimney, boy. Come on, baby. But you know what? I do appreciate that. So for that being said, also for those out here listening, if y'all need y'all teas, y'all great blends of teas to get y'all through the day, whether caffeinated, whether y'all just need something chill to just match y'all lax and y'all vibration, or whether it might just be that time of the month for the ladies and they just need something that's going to help to support them and carry them through. Auntie's Apothecary has all you need for every one of those circumstances to make sure that you are at your fullest through every transition of womanhood in every season. And also for the men too, because let's keep it real. Like, if you're a grown ass man and you don't like tea, I don't know. I ain't going. You bitch. It's like all this apothecary tea. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man. And I'm gonna follow that up by saying, guys, I got smoothies at Flyer Mouth Catering. Tap in for that. Got y'all covered with that. They're fresh, delicious, nutritious, made with fresh organic fruit. Got a lot of flavors for you guys to tap into. So definitely slide over to Flyer Mouth Catering. Also, next Saturday, I'll be on hand at the Imperfect Art Gallery to help with their second night of their art exhibit. So if you're available and you're in the Philadelphia area, slide through. That's March 18th at 8 o'clock. Imperfect Art Gallery at 5539 Germantown Avenue. It's going to be art display, music, food, just a good time, and it's 420 friendly. So, you know, for my smokers, come through, you know, and let's have a good time. Also, March 19th, I'm going to be in New Jersey with the assistance of Show to the Friend, Friends of the Show, Exhibit A for her open mic ceremony. So if you're in New Jersey at that time, slide through. You know, we're going to have a lot of guests that being interviewed from poets, rappers, singers. So we got a few things that Positive Vibes maybe to stay in tune with. And make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel, the Patreon, the Twitter, and the Instagram, and stay up to date with all things PVM. And that's all I got for tonight, you know.
Right on. Right on.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for having us. As always, it's a blast chatting with y'all, and we will check in with y'all next time.
I know, right? Everybody enjoy y'all night. I love y'all. Y'all stay blessed, stay safe. To the audience, thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate all the comments. We love y'all. And y'all enjoy y'all evening, you know. Spend time with your loved ones. Enjoy your vices. Stay safe. And we'll see y'all next Sunday. This has been Positive Vibes Maybe, PVM the Talk Show. I'm your host, Dante Smith. We'll see y'all next Sunday.